videos we are covered 4 topics that is in chapter 3 scoping. The first topic is introduction and then variable scope, what is meant by LEGB rule, and then types of variable scope we discussed only local scope. In this videos we discuss the remaining 4 different types of scope used in this variables. Now we see about what is meant by global scope. A variable which is declared outside of all the functions in a program is known as global variable. This means global variables can be accessed inside or outside of all the functions in a program. So we already know what is mean by global. In the introduction itself I explained what is mean by global. Yes. So global means we can declare above all the functions. We can declare a global variables at first. Okay. So if you are declaring the global variable at first line of your program, we can access throughout the program. That is inside or outside of all the functions you can able to access the values. Okay. Now you can see the example for this global scope. See this example, a equal to 10, disp of, here disp is a function name, a equal to 7, print a. Here also we are using 2 variables with the same name, a. So here you can see in global scope the value of a is 10 and then local scope we assign the value of a is 7. How you can say this is a local scope? Because this variable can be defined within a function, that is current function. A variable defined current function is known as a local scope. In this a, it can be declared outside of this function. So a variable declared outside of all the function is known as a global scope. Now you can see disp. This is a function call statement. At last print a. So this print a, here you can see the diagrammatic representation of this program. So here a equal to 10, this is a global scope variable and then we are using one function disp. Here also we assign the values of a equal to 7. Now we call this function disp. When you call this function, it print the value of a. So your program coding can be executed. First it execute this function disp. So it display the value of 7. And then we can call again print a. So first time it print the value of local variable a. So it gets the value is 7. And then next we call the function global variable. So it get the global value. Print a means here the value of a is 10. The global variable can be printed. So the output of this program is 7 and 10. Can you able to understand? So see this one. So in this example, here first statement a equal to 10 is known as a global variable. Why we call it as a global variable? A variable is declared outside of all the function is known as a global variable. In this a equal to 7, why this variable is known as a local variable? Because this variable is defined within a function. So we call it as a local variable. I think now you can able to understand. Okay, next we see about what is mean by enclosed scope. So enclosed scope, define inside enclosing functions. Here the variable can be defined inside of the function, enclosing function. So we already know the term nested function. So nested function means a function defined within another function is known as a nested function. I already studied about in 11th standard what does mean by nested loops, nested switch case, and then nested function, nested class, that are all discussed in the 11th standard itself. Okay. So here we understand what does mean by nested function. So nested function means a function can be defined within another function is known as a nested function. So a variable which is declared inside a function which contains another function definition within it. The inner function can also access the variable of the outer function. This scope is called enclosed scope. So listen here, what is meant by enclosed scope means The inner function variable can be accessed the outer function value is known as a enclosed scope. Okay, is it clear? That is, the inner function variable can be accessed the values of the outer function. Then that scope is known as a enclosed scope. Okay, see this example. In this example, here disp is a function name. A equal to 10. Here we take the variable A and assign the value 10 and then disp1. This is also one more function. So this disp1 function is a inner function. So disp is a outer function. A function within another function is known as a nested function. Okay. So disp1 here print A. So the value of A is not declared in this inner function. We just give the statement print A alone. There is no value stored in this A in this inner function, but the value of A is declared in the outer function. Next line we see about disp1. This is a function call statement. And then again we are using one statement print A. At last we are using disp. In this here we can see about the diagrammatic representation of this program code. Okay, so now you can see disp is a outer function, disp1 is a inner function. Here the value of A is accessed from the outer function, so we call it as a enclosed scope. See this output of this program. First it call the function disp. Disp means it directly goes to this outer function. Here we assign the value A equal to 10 and then it goes to the inner function disp1. So print A. Now the value of A is taken from the outside function, so it printed 10 and then disp1 print A. So we get 10 10. We get the output 10 10 two times because both inner and outer function have the value of A is 10. So we are getting the output 10 10 again and again. Okay, can you able to understand? So very simple. What does mean by enclosed function means the inner function variable can access the values of the outer function. Is known as a enclosed scope. Okay. Now we see about what is mean by built-in scope. So the built-in scope has all the names that are preloaded into the program scope when we start the compiler or interpreter. So any variables or modules which is defined in the library functions of a programming language as built-in or module scope. They are loaded as soon as the library files are imported to the program. So listen, what does mean by built-in scope means? Built-in scope is known as a preloaded program scope. That is, when we start the program, when we start the compiler and the interpreter, some of the variables and some of the values is assigned automatically, is assigned by default. That is known as a built-in scope. In C++ we are using header files, no, hash include IO stream. So for what purpose we are including that IO stream? We want to include some preloaded library functions to your source code. The same way built-in scope means it is used to insert some library functions or some library preloaded variables to your source code. That's why we are using the built-in scope. See this one, any variable or module which is defined in the library functions of your programming language as built-in or module scope. Okay, so that is preloaded, already existing values or variables are stored in your compiler or interpreter that you want to include it to your source code, then we can use a built-in scope. So they are loaded as soon as the library files are imported to the program. So we just import. In C++ we are using the keyword include to include the header file. In Python we can use a keyword import to include the library files or interpreter something into your preloaded program codings to your source code. Okay, so see this example, built-in or module scope. It has the higher priority, that is it can be implemented in the first line. Okay, library files associated with the software are the library files. Now we see about what is meant by module. So a module is a part of a program. So module means one of the part of a program. So programs are composed of one or more independently developed modules. Here the term independent, that is a module cannot have relations with other modules. That's why we are specifying the word independent. Now you can see the example of this. If you want to manufacture a car, the product of this car can be manufactured in different places. For example, wiper and a wheel that can be manufactured in different places. Different group of members is working for manufacturing this wheel and wiper and other parts. But at last we can able to make a car, complete the task, that is car can be manufactured. Finally we get the product. There is no relationship between the wiper manufacturing company and tire manufacturing companies, but at last we combine all this together, we get an object, that is car. Car can be ready by different parts. This different parts can be manufactured in different places. There is no relationship on this. Okay, so the same way a program are composed of one or more independently developed modules. So modules work perfectly on individual level and can be integrated with other modules. So we know already modules can work perfectly on individual level. So each module there have individual instructions, individual data and processing codes. So that can be executed individually and integrated with other modules. A program can be divided into small functional modules that work together to get the output. So programs can be divided into the small functional modules so that work together to get the output. The process of subdividing a computer program into separate subprograms is called a modular programming. The examples of modules are procedures, subroutines and functions. We already discussed in chapter 1 this concept, that is procedures, subroutines and functions. Okay, so module is nothing but a part of a program is known as a module. Each module can be able to execute individually and there is no relationship between the modules. Okay, but we can combine all the modules together to build a single program and we get the output for the relevant task. That's all about this modules. Okay, now you can see the characteristics of modules. Modules contains instructions, processing logic and data. So I already told modules are individual part of the program. It have their own instructions, own processing logic and data. So modules can be separately compiled and stored in a library. So it have their own instruction code, so it can be compiled and stored in a library files separately. Modules can be included in a program. So modules, if for example in C++ we are including IO stream, string.h, so these are all known as a modules. Okay, so modules can be included in a program. So if you want any modules to your source code, we can able to include that modules in a program. Modules segments can be used by invoking a name and some parameters. So how to include a modules means we can include a modules by using their name and some parameters associated with that modules. Module segments can be used by other modules. So one module can be used by other modules also. So that's all about the characteristics of modules. Now we see about what are the benefits of using modular programming. Modules means a small part, so we are using only the less code, and then a single procedure can be developed for reuse. So here we can develop a code for a single task, a small task, so it can be developed and reuse. Programs can be designed more easily. So task is very simple, a small process you want to do with module. So programs can be designed more easily. Modular programming allows many programmers to collaborate on the same application. So in this modular programming technology, the single project can be divided into more than one person. So each person can do their work perfectly. At last, all are combined together to give the solution of the given project. The code is stored across multiple files. So each programmer can store their files in separate places, that is multiple files. Code is short, simple and easy to understand. So errors can easily be identified. So code is very short, so we can able to identify the errors easily as they are localized to a subroutines or functions. The same code can be used in many applications. Once one module can be ready, that same module can be used in more than one applications without a retyping. Okay, we just include that modules. The scoping of variables can easily be controlled. In this modules, we can able to control the scope of the variable. We already know what is meant by scope. Accessibility of the variable can be easily controlled using these modules. In this video, we discuss about different types of variable scope and what is meant by module and what are the characteristics of modules and what are the benefits of using the modules. So today's assignment for this video class. So you write about what is a scope, what is mapping, what do you mean by namespace. Explain the types of scopes for variables or LAGB rule with example. So write any 5 characteristics of modules. Here these are the very important questions you must read and write this assignments. Okay, thank you.